This week, my groupmates and I went to visit a museum, but in the spirit of MCO and pandemic season, we visited there with the convenience of online internet. We can freely look through the whole museum in AR and full rotation, so rather than the conventional normal physical visit, our experience this time is all in digital. So, we have decided to go to this Greek museum called Benaki Museum. The real physical museum is located at Athens in Greece, but fortunately for us, we can get there with just one click via the link below. The museum is pretty old, much older than us by like 70 years, so we had choose one museum out of a bunch and we decided to go with this Benaki one cause out of 4 or 5 museums we briefly went through, this one had the friendliest user interface and we just overall liked the style and presentation of it. Okay, so start from now, I will pass on to Yiling, my friend. We will guide you through this interesting journey.
So the reason we decide to suddenly visit this museum is so that we can study about it, to go and observe the element of experiential design at play here. We had a look at the content and context of this place, the space, form and orientation of it. Now then, moving on to the Asia Museum. When we first click on the link, it seems to spawn in somewhat random room, not really random as in every time. We click the link spawn somewhere different, but rather random in the sense that the random room was kinda normal. We say it's random because there didn't seem to be any light at the entrance door leading into it. So that's the entrance and we can see in the map there's the 4 levels here. Fortunately this place follows in English norm, so the first level is the ground floor, as opposite to American English where they don't have a ground floor, instead they count their ground floor as the first floor.
Alright, so then after we spawned in, we start navigating the museum with the very handy map tool in the bottom left of the screen. And similar to Google Earth, we just like move around and move the cursor, point and click, just like Google Earth. We can click on the screen and drag the mouse to sort of orbit the camera into this 360 view. And then we can click on the objects and artifacts to find out more about the stories and details behind it. Unlike Google Earth, however, there's only like a set point that we can move to, and it's indicated by this like glowing white circle marked on the floor. So this is handy because you won't be able to accidentally click onto some random spot like on Google Earth. You know, in Google Earth you can just like get lost into it. You know, you can accidentally click here and there, and then you don't even know where you are. But in here it's set, it's fixed, so you won't have to worry about like getting lost to some part of the museum. There's also like a bunch of buttons in the corner, in the bottom right corner of the screen, and we can press it. It does like, it turns left, right, up, down, zoom in on all that. So you can press the buttons instead if you prefer pressing rather than using the mouse to navigate. And then moving on, we can also see that this museum got its text and information written in Greek language. So we don't have any idea what it means. We're not versed in the Greek language. Luckily for us though, there are 6 different languages in audio form that lets us hear it instead. And one of them is in English, so good for us since we'll be able to understand from that easier.
The icon of St. Luke painting the portrait of the Virgin of the Hydria, signed by Domenicos Theotokopoulos.
But yeah, outside of this, we'll have to translate the words to Google Translate in order to understand the stories and info and other words present in the interface. Alright, you can cut this bit now, Kai.
So then, moving on to the observation, starting in the piece and the form of the orientation, we can notice that the museum does an excellent job on condensing all of this Greek history into one museum. which have taken between 1 to 2 hours to walk physically in the place. Its interior design as external design then is very fitting. From the outside, we can know that the Benaki Museum is a Greek classical style building. From the inside, it's combined traditional Greek style and Shabbichin designs. What makes the traditional inside stands on its own are the combination of tire and true decal styling, utilizing traditional furnishing mixed with modern elements that keeps a room from looking too much of one particular styles. Shabbichin then, on the other hand, has roots in the antiques vintage designs and furnishing with a decisable, comfortable takes and boosts the timeless left in the vintage inspired appeal. At the same time, the space is magnificent and spectacle because of the establishment of the exhibits and antiques.
Finding your way around Benaki Museum wasn't that hard. The exhibits are arranged and displayed according to the era, from ancient to modern. Visitors are able to move to another room by clicking the map which represents at the left bottom corner. It also provides circles in different locations which we are able to click, and this indicates visitors are moving forward. It usually starts from the entrance until it reaches a blind alley. Dragging left mouse click leads to observe the environment in 360 form in that particular position. Full screen function is available as well to provide a better experience for users, so the user can interact with those art pieces without distance restriction. And then one of the benefits of this virtual museum space is that the perspective can be in close proximity without any concern of maybe breaking or it or something. On the contrary, the six advantages that is that they can't exactly touch the sculpture and art piece physically.
Now, moving on to the content and context, what's present in the museum. First, we can note the obvious, that all the text and info that's presented is in foreign Greek language. So it took us quite a while because we had to Google Translate everything for us to understand. So like we mentioned before, there are 4 different floors, and the ground floor is the part that most historians would be interested in. It covered the period of history from the Neolithic right through the 6500 BC to the 17th century. The first floor of the Benaki Museum continues with the late post-Byzantine era, displaying featured items from the 16th century to the 19th century. The concept of this floor is to present exhibits created and used under foreign domination, whilst this of course means Ottoman rule. There was very little background information from that period to this period in history.
Hello, it's Sam here. So we're gonna be wrapping up the vlog here. And before we do so, I would like to talk about the experience we've had during that virtual tour. Honestly, it was a really nice experience, but it would have been better in real life if we got to visit it physically. First off, I'd like to start talking about the interior. The interior was very fascinating. Like, the way I personally felt was like, it looks really attractive, like somewhere I really have to visit that. It's like in my bucket list now. And all of us felt like it would be a really nice place to visit, or a really nice place to see, like a really nice experience basically. So yeah, it had a bunch of different rooms from what we saw, and each room had its own vibe, its own era, the timing and statues and all that related to the timing obviously. And speaking about the outside looks of the museum itself, it really gives off the temple, the Greek temple or the Greek hall vibe. Anyways, so we all felt very curious to visit the place in real life, and sadly due to the pandemic we weren't able to go, or anyways, but like it wasn't that bad. Like, the company of my group mates, it wasn't bad, it was fun, we enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to visit that place in the future, or any kind of place with them. Honestly, they're really fun to be around. And yeah, thank you for watching, and we'll end the video here. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully one day we can all visit. Thank you.